Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. So this is chemistry session. We are discussing about the chapter metals and non-metals. In this chapter, previously we have discussed about different kinds of metals and non-metals, their properties and how do they react with other chemicals, which elements are classified as metals and non-metals. These all points we have seen. In this session, we are going to see some special concepts about this metals and non-metals chapter. That is, one of them is alloys. Have you ever heard this word alloy? Yes, actually, an alloy is a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals or a metal and a non-metal. It is prepared by melting the main constituting metal and then adding the definite proportions of other elements also in the molten state. So in this way, alloys are prepared. Alloy means the mixture of two or more metals formed when molten metals are mixed. Sometimes along with the metals, certain non-metals also are added into this formation of alloys. Yes, so here we can see some examples of alloys are shown. You can see the first one, steel. In many ways we use this steel, and one more bronze, and other one brass. These all are examples for alloys. These alloys are made from mixing metals with some other metals. These are made by mixing metals with some other metals or non-metals. The mixture of the homogeneous mixtures of metals with some other metals or non-metals are known as alloys. The molten mass is uniformly stirred and cooled to form a solid mass. Thus, the solid mass formed is called an alloy. So, what they do? So, first they take a metal in the molten state. That molten metal is mixed with some other metal or non-metal in the molten state. Then, this mixture or molten mass is slowly and uniformly stirred and cooled to become solid. This solid mass formed is called an alloy. Why the alloys are made? Why metals are mixed? Alloys are normally formed in order to improve the quality of the main constituent or metal. Actually, in an alloy, the properties are different from those of the component metals, components mixed in it. Okay? Why these alloys are made? These alloys are made to get the best quality of these metals, to improve the qualities of those metals which are as constituents. So, the properties of the original metals and the alloy formed will be differed. Here some examples of alloys are shown. Let us see the first one, brass. Brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. So first copper metal is taken and it is made to molten form by heating. To this copper, zinc also is added in the molten form. So the mixture of these two now cooled and made to solidified. The solidified mass formed by the mixing of these two is called brass. In the same way, bronze is also one of the alloys made from copper and tin. And gold, actually pure gold, it is a pure element, but the jewelry grade gold, it is not pure gold, because pure gold is a little soft metal. It cannot be made into thin sheets and this all. It won't retain the same form. It may cut easily. To make this gold harder, they add a small quantity of silver or gold to it. That is called ornamental gold. You might have heard this word, ornamental gold. So that ornamental gold is a mixture of pure gold with copper or silver. By the addition of these metals, that gold becomes hard enough. Then it is used for making of these jewelry or ornaments. Okay, now ornamentary gold or jewelry gold is an alloy. It is not pure. One more, solder. Generally this solder is used in welding purpose. It is also one of the alloy. It is made by mixing the metals like tin, lead, antimony and these all. In the molten state they are mixed and this alloy solder formed. One more alloy, steel. Steel is also one of the alloys. It is an alloy of iron and carbon. Mostly this steel is made by mixing iron with carbon. Along with these two, some other metals are also used for making this steel. They are manganese, nickel, chromium, molybdenum and cobalt. Some of these or sometimes all of these are used in making of this steel alloy. Based upon the purpose, they mix this iron and carbon along with these all kinds of metals to make an alloy called steel. In general, metals are alloyed too. Yes, we told different alloys are made by mixing metals here. What is the main purpose of making these alloys? That is to increase the hardness. Yes, there are some benefits by making these metals into alloys. There are some advantages to get some different properties from these metals. These metals are often alloyed. One of them is important point is to increase the hardness, because alloys are generally harder than pure metals. For example, stainless steel and chrome steel are harder than pure iron. Yes, see here, these are stainless tubes, stainless rods are here. These are much stronger than pure iron rods or iron tubes. So, to increase the hardness, iron is alloyed and it is made into steel. So, based upon the composition, sometimes it is called stainless steel or chrome steel or nickel steel. It can be called, because we told here steel is made with carbon and iron, and sometimes they add some different metals also. So these all come under steels. This steel is much harder than pure iron. So in this way, metals are alloyed to increase the hardness. Next one, to increase the resistance towards corrosion. It is also one of the important purpose in making of alloys. Generally, iron gets easily rust, isn't it? Whenever these iron articles are kept outside, after a few days, if you observe, they will be corroded or rusted. Okay, these iron articles are alloyed to get steel which is non-corroding, non-rusting. It won't get rust. So to avoid rusting, these iron articles are alloyed and made into steels which won't get rust. So in this way, alloys are made to increase the resistance towards the corrosion. See here, some stainless steel vessels are there which we use generally in our homes for cooking purpose and is all. They won't get rust even if you use for years of time, isn't it? Why don't they get rust? These are not made from pure iron. They are alloyed steels, that we can say stainless steel articles. So in that, iron is alloyed by mixing with some other metals like nickel, chromium and these all. So that iron is becoming stainless. That is why we call that stainless steel. Here stain nothing but rusting. Stainless means no rust. So the steel which won't get rust is called stainless steel. In this way, for controlling rusting or corrosion, metals like iron are alloyed and made into steels. And one more purpose, to increase the tensile strength. It is also just like the hardness and bearing capacity, strain capacity, strain bearing capacity we can say. So tensile strength means strain bearing capacity. It is to be noted that alloy steel in general having greater tensile strength as compared to iron. Yes, it can bear much strain than the pure iron. Okay. For example, chrome steel is used in making axles and ball bearings which are having greater tensile strength than pure iron. Yes, see here some ball bearings you can observe in some machinery parts to control the friction. These ball bearings are made of stainless steel or chrome steel we call that. So this can bear much strain. They are having high tensile strength than iron. If you use only these bearings made up of pure iron, they may be damaged very easily. So because they cannot bear much strain. Whereas these steel ball bearings and axles, they can bear much strain. They have greater tensile strength. So we can say to increase the tensile strength also metals are alloyed. One more, to lower the melting points. Yes, in certain properties or certain purposes we need to melt the metals at low temperatures. But we know metals are having high melting points. So to reduce their melting points also, these metals are often alloyed. For example, solder, which is an alloy of tin and lead, has lower melting point than both the metals. We know these metals like tin and lead, these are having high melting points. When these two are mixed, an alloy of these two formed which is called solder, which is having low melting point. So because of its low melting point, this solder alloy is used in welding purposes, we know that. Okay, to reduce the melting point also, some metals are alloyed. So this we can say different uses or advantages of making metals into alloys. One more here, modify the chemical reactivity. Yes, to modify the chemical reactivity also, some metals are alloyed. Alloys are formed to modify the chemical reactivity of some metals. For example, sodium metal immediately catches fire when added to water. Yes, we know sodium is one of the highly reactive metals. Some metals like sodium, potassium, lithium, these metals, they can catch fire immediately when they are kept outside. With atmospheric air also, they can burn immediately. So if you pour small quantity of water on them, they may catch very vigorously and they fire immediately. So they are highly reactive metals. So sodium is one of the highly reactive metals. It immediately catches fire when added to water. But however, sodium amalgam, it is one of the alloys of sodium. Okay, with mercury, does not catch fire. Yes, when the sodium is converted into alloy by mixing with some mercury, that alloy of sodium called amalgam. Okay, this sodium alloy won't catch fire, and even this sodium amalgam is generally used in filling teeth cavities. Yes, often we see some people, they'll be having silver colored teeth inside. So this is filling made by sodium amalgam. Sodium amalgam means the alloy made from sodium by mixing with mercury. Here we know mercury is one of the liquid metal and sodium is one of the highly reactive metal. But when these two are alloyed, they are forming a hard solid which is having different properties from these two metals, sodium and mercury. The properties of these two are different from this alloy formed from this. Okay, in this way, alloys are made or prepared from the metals for getting different advantages from them. To improve the quality of those metals, to use in different purposes. We told here one of the new point here, that is amalgam. What is this meaning of this amalgam? Amalgam is mixture of or alloy of any metal with mercury. You can say definitely simply an amalgam is an alloy in which mercury is one of the components. Yes, when metals are mixed with mercury, then those metal amalgams are formed. For example, if sodium is mixed with mercury, the alloy formed is called sodium amalgam. If magnesium is mixed with mercury, then the amalgam formed is called magnesium amalgam. In this way, most of the metals, they form amalgams with mercury. But iron and platinum are exceptions. They cannot form amalgam with mercury. Okay. Remaining almost all the metals, they mix with mercury and form hard solids which we call as amalgams. With their respective name we call them. Sodium if it is mixed, sodium amalgam. Potassium if it is mixed, potassium amalgam. If it is magnesium and mercury mixture, then it is called magnesium amalgam. In this way, amalgams generally they will be solids, and some amalgams they may exist in the liquid state also. These are employed as good reducing agents. These amalgams sometimes in the chemical reactions are also there used. They are good reducing agents. So it is one of the metallic amalgam, magnesium amalgam it is. Okay, some examples again they have given here. Sodium amalgam. When sodium mixed or made alloy with mercury, then the alloy formed is called sodium amalgam. If magnesium is mixed with mercury, then amalgam formed is magnesium amalgam. So these mostly the main use of these amalgams is in filling teeth cavities they use it. Not only in this, in chemical reactions also they use often as reducing agents. Okay, amalgams means the mixture of metals with mercury. Next, one more concept, corrosion. The surface of some metals gets corroded when exposed to moist air to form for a long time. This is called corrosion or rust. Yes, some metals like iron, when they are kept outside in the moist air for a long time, they will be getting rusting. We observe this often. This is called also as corrosion or rusting. This is formed because of the reaction of these metals with atmospheric air in the presence of moisture. Rust is a soft and porous material. It is gradually falls off from the surface of iron, and then the iron below it starts rusting. So what happens? First, when you keep an iron object outside in the moist air for a certain time, say a few days, then what happens? We observe the formation of rust on that iron article. Then this rust formed will fall down. This allows further the next layer of iron starts rusting. So in this way, the total object will be rusted and will be damaged. Thus, rusting is continuous process and it gradually eats away the iron article, due to which an iron object loses its strength. Yes, what happens? So when an iron article is kept outside, it starts rusting. This will be continued. The total iron object will be rusted and it reduces the stamina or strength of that iron object. So it is clear from this that corrosion is a wasteful process and should be prevented. Yes, iron should not get rust. If it is rusted, that will be spoiled. Those iron articles cannot be used further. They will lose their strength. So this corrosion is one of the wasteful process and it should be controlled or prevented. We have to protect these articles from getting rusted. So how can we control this or prevent this rusting of metals or corrosion of metals? Let us see the methods for prevention of corrosion of metals. What we told here, corrosion of metals can be prevented if the contact between the metal and air is cut off. Yes, we told these metals will be corroded or rusted in the presence of moist air. So if these metals are in contact with the moist air, then only they will get rust. So if you avoid this in contact between the metal and the moist air, then we can protect that metal from getting rusted. So this is done in a number of ways. Sometimes some of the methods for controlling or preventing rusting are listed here. Let us see one by one. One of them is coating with oil or paint. Yes, iron and steel instruments and parts of various machines, agricultural tools are kept smeared with oil or coated with oil or paint when not in use. Yes, in villages often we will be observing the iron articles or agricultural tools which are not being used. They clean them first and they apply certain oil or paint on them when they are not in use, so that this prevents corrosion as metal is not in contact with moist air. So what happens when this oil or paint is applied on the metal article or iron article? This will act like a blanket and it controls the contact of air with iron article, so that corrosion is prevented from that. See, some iron articles like grills, gates, these are also painted. What happens? This paint protects the iron article from the corrosion because it will stop the contact of moist air with the iron article. Okay, painting is one of the technique to control the rusting or corrosion. One more, it is important one, galvanization. It is a process of giving a thin coating of zinc and or iron sheets to prevent rusting. Iron sheets are clipped in molten zinc, taken out and allowed to cool to get galvanized iron. Yes, some tools like iron sheets or steel sheets, these are clipped and dipped into molten zinc, so that a thin layer of zinc will be applied on those, and then they are cooled, so that after cooling they will be galvanized. Those iron articles will be a thin layer of zinc. The formation of a thin layer of zinc on the iron articles is called galvanization. So this galvanized steel or galvanized iron is used to make different utensils like buckets, roofings, boxes and other useful articles like these rods, pipes and these all. So when this iron is coated with zinc, it will be protecting the iron article from getting rusted, coming in contact with air. Okay, this is called galvanizing. Coating iron articles with a thin layer of zinc is called galvanization. Okay, next. One more preventing method, very interesting and important that is corrosion preventing method, is electroplating. In this method, metal surfaces are covered with another metal by using electric current, and thus corrosion is stopped. Yes, in this also metal surfaces are covered with some other metals, but this is done by using electric current. So here metal is plated on another metal by using electricity. That is why generally this method is called electroplating. Plating of another metal on some metal by using electric current it is done. So it is called electroplating. Spoons, handles of bicycles, taps and many other articles are electroplated. Yes, we use some bicycles which are very shiny and in silver color. Actually they are made up of iron rods, steel rods. But these steel rods are coated with some nickel or chromium to avoid rusting. This is done by electroplating. These iron articles are used and by electrical current is used, and on this nickel or chromium metal is coated. By that they will be prevented from getting rusted. Many presentation articles, medals or etc. are gold plated or silver plated electrolytically. Yes, some presentation articles like these mementos and medals and even prizes also. These all are gold coated or silver coated will be there. Nowadays we are getting 1 gram gold, we say artificial jewelry, rolled gold jewelry call those. So those also 1 gram gold we call generally. Often I think you have heard this word 1 gram gold. So what they do, these ornaments are made with cheap metals, and on these metals some costly metals like silver and gold are plated by using electric current. Okay, that is called electroplating. These are tools which you are observing here. These are also coated with some precious metals to appear with very shining and to avoid rusting. These are coated with these metals. Say silver plated goblet. Actually it is made up of another metal, but it seems now like a silver metallic object because on this silver is coated by using electric current. In this way, the metals which will get rust, those are coated with the metals which won't get rust by using electric current. This is called electroplating. Okay. Next, the third category of elements, as we discussed till now about the metals and non-metals. Totally, these metal elements are, out of these 118 elements, there are 4 categories of elements. Out of them, metals and non-metals we have seen till now. Okay, the third category is metalloids. Metalloids exhibit the properties that lie in between that of metals and non-metals. Yes, the elements which show the properties of either metals and non-metals are known as metalloids. So the properties of these metalloids will be in between that of metals and non-metals. So for some examples we can see here: boron, germanium, silicon, strontium, tellurium, polonium. These all are examples for metalloids. These elements, they will exhibit the properties of both metals and non-metals. So those elements which can show the properties of both metals and non-metals are called as metalloids. Next, fourth category of metals, that is inert gases. These gases contain 8 electrons in their valence shell, which is known as octet gas configuration. So those elements which are having this configuration, they will be much stable. They won't participate in the chemical reactions. They won't combine with any other elements, and even they won't combine themselves also. Such elements are called noble gases. All these elements will be in the gaseous form. Of course, except helium, remaining all elements out of these noble gases, they will be having 8 electrons in their valence shells, and thus they are stable. Even helium is also one of the stable element, even though it has only 2 electrons. So these elements, they do not combine with any other elements, and even they won't combine themselves also. That is why they will be available always in the gaseous form. So these are also called, these inert gases are also called noble gases, aerogens, rare gases, zero group elements also. So these are called noble gases because they are ideal, they are inert, they do not combine with any, they will be separate. That is why they are called noble gases. And aerogens, because almost all these inert elements are exist in the gaseous form. That's why they are called aerogens. And they are existing in the very rare quantity in the atmosphere, so they are called rare gases. And these elements are placed in the periodic table at the extreme right side. In the zero group it is called, or 8th A group. That is why these are also called zero group elements. Okay, they are the different names given for the inert gases or ideal gases or noble gases. Here are some examples for noble gases or inert gases: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, etc. These all are called noble gases or inert gases. Mostly these are used in filling electrical bulbs, more preferably in advertisement glow bulbs. These inert gases are used in filling advertisement glow bulbs, in the different colored bulbs. Okay, this is about the different metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. Now let us see small assessment or test on these concepts. So try to answer these questions, read the questions carefully. Chemical formula of rust is it Fe2O, FeO, Fe3O4 or Fe2O3XH2O? Which is the chemical formula of rust? While discussing about the chemical properties of metals, we told this. metals react with oxygen to form their oxides. Even iron also reacts with atmospheric oxygen in the presence of moisture to form its oxide called rust. So what is the chemical formula of rust? It is Fe2O3 XH2O. Here X represents the number of water molecules combined. It varies from one place to other place based upon the existence of moisture. That is why it is simply variability is shown. Fe2O3 XH2O is the chemical formula of rust. Next question. Elements which have properties of metals and non-metals are called. Yes, just now we have seen some elements in the periodic table are out of 118 elements. Some elements are there which can exhibit the properties of both non-metals and metals. Such elements are called, see options here, are they called metals, crystalline substances, metalloids, or amorphous substances. What are they called, children? Yes, they are called metalloids. The elements which exhibit the properties of both metals and non-metals are called metalloids. Next question. Which of the following does not represent inert gases? See something they are given in the options. Noble gases, aerogens, rare gases, reactive gases. Which name does not represent inert gases? That is the meaning here. Which of those does not represent inert gases? We told just now they are having different names here. Inert gases are also called noble gases, aerogens, rare gases, and ideal gases. These all are common or different names of inert gases, but they are not called reactive gases. They are because they are least reactive elements. They are not at all reactive. They won't participate in chemical reactions. They are not called reactive gases. So it does not represent noble gases. It is the correct answer. Next one. Common brass is an alloy of. Yes, alloys means what did we say? Alloys are the homogeneous mixtures of metals. The mixture of a metal with another metal or a carbon is known as an alloy. Here they are asking brass is an alloy of tin and zinc, copper and tin, copper and zinc, bronze and lead. What is the composition of brass? We have seen just now. Brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. So it is copper and zinc. Brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. Bronze is a alloy of copper and tin. Brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. Okay, copper and zinc are mixed to form brass alloy. The process of coating iron sheets with a thin layer of zinc is called. Yes, to protect iron articles from the rusting, these iron articles are coated with a thin layer of zinc. That process is called, is it called rusting, hibernation, galvanization, and electroplating? What it is called? Yes, it is called galvanization. Coating of iron articles or iron sheets with a thin layer of zinc is called galvanization. Next one. Which of the following methods is not used for the prevention of corrosion? Yes, for preventing corrosion, different methods are used. Here some methods are given: greasing, painting, heating, and electroplating. Which of these is not used for prevention of corrosion or rusting? Which is not used? Generally, greasing or oiling is used, even painting is also used, and even electroplating is also used for prevention of rust or corrosion. But heating is not used, no use of heating. Even though you heat, after cooling, again they will be corroded or rusted. So heating is not used in prevention of rusting. Okay. Thank you for watching our video, children. Please subscribe our channel and visit our website www.aimstoday.in for latest updates on recorded videos.